If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community. A lot of you guys wished for this video, and today I'm going to be finally reviewing NF's discography. We have another tier list right here. We have the tiers S, A, B, C, and D, S being the best and D being the worst, and I'm going to go through his albums, go through his discography, and kind of rank them from one side, from my personal liking of these records, but also kind of judging their importance and their weight in his discography, in his career, and we're going to get right into it. So as for the albums, we have, I'm going to go through these in chronological order. So we have his EP, NF, that dropped in 2014, I believe. It was before he dropped his debut studio album Mansion right here, then his second studio album Therapy Session, his third studio album Perception, his fourth studio album The Search, and then this is the cover for When I Grow Up, which was one of the singles from The Search, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna pretend like this is his latest mixtape, Clouds, because I think that's what a lot of you guys are also going to be interested in, to see where I rank this, because I've gotten a lot of negative backlash on my review of that mixtape, because a lot of NF fans were defending him. That's probably my most disliked video, because a lot of you guys were not, sharing the same opinion that I had. But a lot of you guys also kind of took it the wrong way. I didn't say the album was, or the mixtape was bad. I just said it was predictable. But I still enjoyed it. I still think it's him in one of his best forms, and him still evolving. But we're gonna get into that once we get to that record. Now, one thing I want to mention is his first album that he released under his real name is not on here. That was Moments. Kind of few words on that. That was it's funny to look back on it and kind of see where he came from. All the auto-tune he used on there, I think, is funny, because that doesn't fit him at all with his whole real music thing and all the production choices that he's made so far. But I just thought that was funny to kind of see him in his earlier states. Okay, kind of going through this. I think I want to start with Mansion, because that was his first studio album. Now, Mansion is a record that probably a lot of NF fans will tell you is his best, because kind of like the core group of his fan base will tell you is his best. And he does have a very strong core fan base, because this is just his most, if you wanna put it that way, his realist. Like the instrumentals on here, the writing on here, the flows on here. Although at some points still awkward, the flows, I feel like he wasn't totally in his element quite yet. They're just the most, they're very personal. It kind of feels like he's very hungry for success. So this is definitely something that a lot of NF fans will tell you is like, his best project. But for me, not quite so. I think because of kind of sometimes the production is very thin. It's not his voice is not mixed and leveled the right way on some songs. What I gotta say though is that Tommy Prophet was already producing all his stuff back then, and what I found very remarkable is how Tommy also evolved with NF throughout the years, and kind of reaching their peak now with Clouds. So this is a great record, incredible first album for him, but not quite peak NF yet for me. I guess we can talk about the mixtape real quick, the NF mixtape. That was kind of after he signed his record label deal, and there's also on here is also All I Have, which was also on his debut studio album. So it's kind of like they're overlapping in some ways. Also, the time that these were recorded is very similar. I guess this was just a snippet for fans to kind of get hyped for the album. But I did enjoy it. I thought sometimes you can kind of hear that it's not perfected yet. He hasn't perfected his sound yet, but still a really solid project. But just because it's not really up there with the likes of a very a high budget studio album, this is not quite there yet for me. So either B or C, to be honest. I'm not really sure. I guess I'm putting it in C. Yeah. I guess that's where I'm putting it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Although they're very similar in terms of sound, these two, but still, I think just that little, more perfecting of the sound on Mansion gives it the edge over the EP. Moving on, we have Therapy Session. And to a lot of people, this is also his best album. I would have to agree in a lot of ways. I guess up here, I don't want to put, I'm going to put it in the S tier right now, but maybe I'll move it around a little bit later on. But we'll have to see. Now, Therapy Session is kind of like the perfect evolution for NF. He's come off of that, really sometimes dark sound and flows from Mansion, and he has mastered that on Therapy Session. That's the evolution that we want to see with an artist. Now, the writing on here and the lyrics are probably some of his most personal, talking about a lot of his personal stuff. Just taking How Could You Leave Us as an example, one of his most personal songs. The production is, again, a step up from Tommy Prophet. I always got to put the two of them in like a duo because they always seem like a duo. And Tommy has done so much for NF over the years and has allowed him to create the sound that he's now famous for. So I think it's only, give credit where it's due to Tommy Prophet. It's my favorite NF track of all time, Breathe, is on here, which I know a lot of you will probably disagree, but that instrumental, my God, that instrumental is so clean and so epic. So, yeah, we also have Grindin' on here, for example, a very cool song that's kind of more upbeat. But yeah, that's kind of what I think about that. Kind of moving on to Perception. Perception was to me more of a commercial effort. That's why I didn't enjoy it as much. He, at that point he was really popping. Of course, on here was also Let You Down, which is his biggest song to date. It's huge. But also stuff like If You Want Love, for example. Like that's also a personal song. Or Lie is on here, which is also a famous song from him, one of his best selling songs, although I'm not too much of a fan of it because it's such a popular and so like mainstream in a way. And this, his slogan, like real music, I'm not sure if he was all the way real on this record. There was a lot of radio stuff on here, so that's why it kind of took away from that feeling that you usually get when you listen to NF records, that real feeling. But anyway, this is a good record, don't get me wrong. Still a lot of bangers on here, but it's also quite long. But I guess I would not put it above Mansion because Mansion's just realer than Perception. Yeah, I guess that's what I'll choose. Yeah. The Search now. The Search was a step up from Perception again, I think, thinking about it. The Search was really long. It was really a drag. Like when you listen to The Search and some of the songs, they're just so similar. Like it's very similar. He does go very deep into his own personal issues and problems on this one. I think that makes it very personal, very vulnerable. But he does it in just a tedious way. Like it's not just a light listen. Like it's very, very tough to listen to. It's very heavy. But I still think it's better than, or it's like on the same level as Perception because it's just very long. I don't know. I don't think I can put it on the same level as Mansion. I think I'll put it here. I think I'll put The Search here next to Perception because I did feel like the Perception was lighter in tone. The Search was just very, very heavy. Let me just say that. Now Clouds, even though this is the cover for When I Grow Up, amazing song off The Search, by the way. Clouds, I'm gonna put in the A tier. Clouds is now a lot of you will probably be like, yo, you reviewed this mixtape so negatively, but the fact is I didn't though. I just said it was predictable. I just said that I would wish for him to switch up his sound more because over these 3 or 4 albums we've just heard him with the same sound for years, and I would have wished for him to switch it up. He was a lot more confident on Clouds. I think it's kind of grown on me a little more since it came out. I think the production on here and the mixing is so so good. Like the mixing is incredible on here. So that's why I think I'll put in the A tier next to Mansion. Although maybe objectively, Cause is definitely better than Mansion, but Mansion is very, very, special in his discography. Yeah, I think this is my tier list. I think this is me ranking NF's discography. Definitely let me know what you think about this. Do you agree with me? Are there some diehard fans out there that are just gonna completely destroy me and kind of disagree with me? Let me know your ranking in the comments down below. I always find it very interesting to kind of get different opinions on this, and then I'll see you guys in the next one. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.